Oh, we're gonna talk about talk about getting this car first, and then see if we can come up with a topic.
Was a nice car.
Because I don't come up with topics off. I come up with topics off the cuff. Yeah.
Shit.
Shit, I'm just making it. But and I don't know why all my ribs smell like seafood, even though I didn't eat seafood. Oh my god, it's probably that Rouse's salad. God damn it, man. Need better stuff at Rouse's. Ooh, bro. Stop it. It might be the kale. Who knows?
Motherfucker. Damn.
Better car. That's probably why that he was doing something. Okay, we're gonna come up with a better thing, a better topic than what we had before. Because what I can say about my last topic is probably the
What is
fact
this shit?
that no matter what I do, no matter how I'm gonna do it, it's gonna be a losing battle. No matter what my opinion is, because there always gonna be probably someone who finds that my opinion is different than theirs, and or they just want to say how hot one of the characters are. Not much. I'm not actually actually too unpartial to, but understandably so. Understandably so, I'm gonna try to still create a discussion. And all right, so and I'm gonna turn this off because it's copyrighted music. I guess what I'm trying to get at, as far as what these topics mean to me, and what these topics actually do for me, is help me put in perspective things that I want to be able to create for myself. Whether I'm going to be doing art, whether I'm going to be fixing something, whether I'm going to be putting something together, or a project together, or any kind of thing. I think that's what this does. It helps me obtain the kind of wants, and because I already have the know-how. I already know how to put together a comic. I already know how to do a whole bunch of different stuff. I already know how to, like, I've literally built some of my own installations as far as stuff goes. I'm a bit of a carpenter, but I'm not a lot. But understanding that that I can learn, and all it takes is to be able to measure twice and cut once, or measure 3 times and measure as many times as it freaking takes, and I'll cut when I goddamn well please. I don't know, whichever one, but but in any case, I'm in life as well, basically. Dang it. Son of a bitch. Yeah, we're going to the military base. We're gonna see if we get the jet, and we're gonna get that jet. So we'll go into the military base, and we're gonna get this jet that's green. It might be green. Yeah. I don't know if it's stuff. But yeah, the reason why I do this is to put my thoughts into I guess a composition sometimes, because I hate writing, and I'm probably gonna have to hire a writer. But if I ever do make my own comic book, or make a series of images that go into a certain thing I don't know, I just really am going to be making a story that's kind of really like,
What is this bullshit?
it's gonna be really cool. And it's not green, but I don't give a shit. do this. That's Mike. I don't know if that was Mike or not. Son of a bitch, dude. Son of a bitch. But, what's up, man? Realizing that, that through this composition, I'm able to make and be able to create a little bit more stuff for what I want to do and how I want to do it. I'm not actually doing this just for kicks and laughs and stuff like that. I'm doing this kind of for a discussion to be able to see what kind of people out there would be right for the kind of stuff or the kind of humor or the kind of things that I would be down for. You know, it's like some people actually find things to be offensive sometimes, or are they, the reason why things get so popular is because, oh my god, this is so terrible, look, share and subscribe or whatever, or something like that, but not really like and stuff. I'm trying to,
Well, that's really rude.
I am really trying to make a discussion, and I really am trying to get people to notice, I guess, what's going on in their world, because there have been too many people actually that try to, I'd say for the most part, lie to themselves about what they believe in, I guess, or how they believe, and they wound up taking their lives or taking other people's lives, and in other countries or in some other places, people wouldn't even care, you know, and I don't think that, and I don't have a bleeding heart. I think that that stuff is wrong, and sometimes what people do to other people can eventually it can eventually create a systemic breakdown in what society's structure is supposed to be, and how people are supposed to lift each other up and be positive about each other and stuff like that. I'm not saying that, like, these are the reasons why, like, I think the way I do sometimes. I used to be in like religion, I guess, somewhat, but not exactly, and I went to like youth group, and they used to talk about how the Bible changed their life, and I didn't have that. Like, the Bible never changed my life. Nothing gave me an epiphany. I didn't really think about anything as far as an epiphany for it. I mean, it really never even struck me as anything. It just struck me as a bunch of words that people do or that people say that inspire them. So I'm gonna try to make something that inspires myself,
You
or
got
inspires
lucky, buddy.
more work and more things for me. I'm kind of creating my own brand, I guess, and doing my own stuff. So making a lot of different moves, I guess, in the whole scheme of things. Not really, but like, I have no actual capital as far as anything goes, but as long as I start making something positive about myself, and I think that what people will actually do is start making things that are positive about their own lives, and I think that people will start to see where my imagination goes whenever I start to see myself, I guess, not fading away into what a fictional life or what a fictional thing has actually brought to me, or I don't know what it is, or maybe it's actually a story like over eons and eons ago that happened and pretty much ruined the entire existence of human life. I don't know, something like that, but it's really cool, and I think that the story will actually make me extremely rich and famous. No, not just that, but it'll probably bring a bunch of things to the table to where I'll be able to do other stuff, and I'll be able to make more, and make new characters and new things, and be able to create lore, and oh my gosh, it's been my freaking dream of all time, as far as consuming goes, to be able to create my own lore. Like, it's just what I hate writing, but it's okay. I don't really hate writing anymore. I'm not good at it. I'm not really good at making sure I can get all my thoughts in composition. But I put them in composition notebooks. That's the thing. But they're not really all together.
Suspect is found in a glass manufacturer seltzer.
Nope, that's a tank. Oh god. Oh god. Understanding that that there are so many things to be able to create in your lifetime. There's so many abilities to be able to see through, or to see to, or to see what it needs to be, or how it needs to be. It's like realizing that that when you get to a certain level, it's like you make your own rules sometimes, and sometimes it's like you start to believe your own lore, or start to believe your own rules and stuff like that. And I think the fact that I've waited for so long to try to actually make something of myself is the fact that I've worked it out in my own head and tried to see which direction I could go with anything, or what kind of things I can actually pitch to people, or sit down and create a storyboard, or I mean, you know, just like anything, or create a storyboard of what I want my comic to be, as well as what I want my brand to be. So
Ooh, too close. Seriously?
but yeah, that's basically what I believe in myself for. I'm not like swindling anyone, or trying to create a false direction for this conversation or anything like that. But that's like besides all the points and the topic that I'm going to come up with today. The topic that I'm going to come up with today is let's say and it's not really an opinion for a whole bunch. It's more like I want to create something, and I have so many ideas to be able to create stuff. It's just like, ever since I knew that it was a possibility that I'll be able to create something, or be able to see something through, and be able, I don't know, it made me believe in myself again. It made me believe in what I could be, and I guess in one case, I know that just because I believe in something, it doesn't mean that it actually people will take it right, and it doesn't mean that people will actually like make it be like a really cool thing, or even actually like have a lore, or even just like memes, I guess, made of me, I guess. But understanding that I really find like all the stuff about different things interesting, and I want to be able to make something of my own one day. And it's really cool. I'm gonna steal this motorcycle, and I don't care about this guy right now because his code. Are you? We're gonna put on a helmet because safety first. Safety first. There we go. And now we're gonna go on the hills because this is what we do. No, you're not living in a cardboard box. I think that when I see what people see on TV, and when I see what people understand on in a certain reality, what I see sometimes There we go. Yay. Yeah. Awesome. What I see sometimes can kind of make me it can make me pull back sometimes and start to really kind of think, and I think the algorithms are basically the I don't know, like the way that those things were made, I guess, like the elves and stuff like that, seem like there's a higher order or something, or like saying that there's or like there's somebody like everyone had to pick, I guess, or not pick, but be a part of a hierarchy, I guess, and every hierarchy had an order, and it didn't really, like, it's not like a whole medieval type thing, but it's like every sort of character you create inside of your own mind has a likeness of you, and every interpretation of that character from anyone else is like a hierarchy. You can make, you can create, you can do anything you want, but understandably, oh yes, I just bounced off the tree. That was awesome. Yes. All right. That was dumb, and I shouldn't have done that. Should not have accelerated down that turnpike. That's not a turnpike. That was a ditch, but it's okay. But that's basically as you start to realize certain things, as you start to realize that when a person comes up with a character inside of their own mind, they start to realize that that the character is basically their innermost weaknesses, their innermost flaws, or anything that they see sometimes, or any of the things that, and sometimes it's nothing, sometimes it's everything you're not, or everything you think you want to be. Like, and even in some ways, the way things are things that they like at all is like uncharacteristic of that character. It's just like making sure that person would be, in a manner of speaking, more attainable, or those values would be more attainable if you did or said a certain thing, or even just bought a certain product. I don't know. It's like, well, I do know, I guess. It's like being captivated by certain characters without actually watching the series. You know, it's like just experiencing what their whole meaning is before you see what's going on inside of that character's head, or even what that character thinks, or how that character, because they broadcast it for you to be able to watch. So, I mean, like in fictional media, or even in real media, sometimes you can see that, or in fictional media, or in even real streaming media, or anything like that. Not streaming media, but in fictional media as well as non-fictional media. Yeah. But understanding where you stand on the spectrum of being able to be, I guess, or to see a new opinion arise, I guess, is really cool, and to me, and makes me want to believe in what society, I think what society is, and it's like it's like, I don't know, it's like I feel like I'm a robot sometimes, because every once in a while everyone's just like, oh, that's just Joe, and then I'm like, no, I got a bunch of shit going on in my head, guys. It's not just me. I mean, it's just me, but it's not just what I'm thinking at that certain period of time. I'm thinking a whole bunch of shit, and you guys are not on my level. So, I mean, if that's just Joe, then that's me. But, I mean, and also too, in the same sense, people can say that, oh, you're just having those jitters, you know, because I mean the mistakes of our diff and moped. God dang it, I want a motorcycle. The mistakes of our former generations and the ways that they certainly lived were I guess I'd say formidable, I guess. And in the same way, in the same sense, it's not like you should run away with those things, or even run away with those without those lessons. But understandably so. I mean, there's just certain jobs we're not meant to do. There's just certain things we're not meant to be. It's like as a lumberjack. It's like how many people die during lumberjacks stuff? I've looked up the statistics, I guess, and it's about 15 to 20%, and usually like 95% of those people that actually do get into accidents, or 95, not 95, about 75% of those people who actually do get into accidents get into fatal accidents without machinery and without different things. Like it's like, oh, I don't have the money to be able to for those vices, so I have to be able to take down things when I'm drunk. And I'm not saying that because I've seen people try to make certain things with themselves, or try to do certain things with themselves, as far as being able to be a certain person available for like jobs or anything like that, or and it's like you know what, I'm not really too hung up on the whole lumberjack thing. Realizing that being a lumberjack is not that readily available or appealing to me. Will probably be they can probably be the one behind the robots and stuff like that, because robots are freaking way cooler than lifting a 100-pound saw and trying to hold it with two people and expecting to actually go somewhere in life with that, when you have calluses all over your hands and you're fucking got sawdust in your lungs. It's like damn, man, you know, there's nothing sexy about, hey how's it going? I lost my arm, do you like the scar? No. It's like, you're never gonna find a woman like that. You may find a woman by like I don't know, but just realizing that you're not the only person to look into a void and be like, wow, is that the end of me, or is that what I'm not seeing? Is that just what discovery is? And I just fucking fall flat on my face right now. I know what it is, and I know why I was doing it, but I thought that I was higher up in the air at first, and then I just kept going with it because I'm retarded. But but in the same sense, and I have no problem with saying the word retarded, because I don't refer to autistic children as retarded. It's stupid, because retarded is something that knows it's dumb, but it's still dumb. But it, I don't know. Just, I mean, I don't get it sometimes when I just farted, and that's what I do. I fart, I burp, I eat food, and I sometimes I get a little bit too fat, and I gotta do push-ups and sit-ups and crunches, and I gotta do squats and lats and curls and freaking a whole bunch of different other stuff that it takes so much time. I don't know, you know, just think about stuff sometimes, you know? Think about, you're not the only person. You know, and people like, people can like think that like from a certain point of view of like a man writing a comedy. You see a dude that like, that went through an individual experience, and it's like, oh my god, that's really cool, and that's really funny, and that's really quirky. But in the same sense, will everyone like it? No, probably not. But, and I'm talking about like, dudes that are like, oh, I'm so angry inside. That must mean I'm gay. No, they're angry inside because their parents abused them and they had no idea.
Western Port
It doesn't mean they're gay. It just means that they're abused. You know, the parents were like, nope, more basketball. No other things. No, you can't be normal. Normal's stupid. Normal is dumb. Normal's idiotic. And that's the reason why. It's like their parents are like. I'm not saying that like all the time that happened, but I'm also saying that people shoved culture down some people's throats sometimes. Whenever kids just wanted to be normal, people shoved being different around somebody's face. It's like, you don't have to be different. It's like, we just look different. We're all different shades of something. Whatever, it's fine. But it doesn't matter how much change you invite into a society. Understandably so, if nobody wants it, then nobody's going to get it. And also understandably so, if you don't realize that that change should have been happening as people were actually learning, and if they didn't happen as they were learning, then they wouldn't be in those positions, and they wouldn't be in those places. People would notice. People would notice and be like, well, that's just him. No. That's not just him. That's not just how society allows people to live. And if they want to act like that, then they are the ones who can get shot in the field or get their heads chopped off and see how far they can run. Because that's the reason why those evil people exist. Because why do they exist? Why do they exist? Because they believed they had a purpose, and they tried to take out a whole bunch of different other people. And yes, it seems like I'm losing all my 0 viewers, but understandably so. I have a point to this, and it has a lot to do with emotions. They were abused. They got abused, and they didn't find anyone to be able to see them, be able to see who they really were. Are you throwing up, Bo? What are you doing? They didn't have anyone to be able to see them through to a different goal in their life. They saw that all that was left was just one thing. It's like, work until you die. And then it became, oh, I have to kill until I die too, because other people are trying to kill me so that I'll be dead, so that they can work until they die. So that's what happens, man. Fucked up shit happens in fucked up places because people stay fucked up, and it doesn't mean like, oh, you're Americanized or whatever. No, you're a decent person and everyone notices it. It's like, yeah, that's whenever you're a decent person and everyone notices it, you get celebrity status in some way, shape, or form. Whenever you're an extremely decent person and everyone notices it, like all the time, then like you're a multi-billionaire actor / person who does really well at everything because you actually put that much thought into almost pretty much everything you do. So that's what happens whenever you're doing something and you realize that like oh, you're like that's what happens. It's like, but also too, people are like, oh my god, they have secrets. They have to have secrets. It's like yeah, they have secrets. They work really hard and they do really well. And sometimes, no, wait, some of them are assholes. Hold on. Kevin Spacey is an asshole, and I really realized it back in his Usual Suspects career. Like, I didn't like The Usual Suspects very much. It didn't really speak to me very well. I mean, it's not the fact that it spoke to me that he was gay. It just spoke to me that that a character like that a person who played the character that easily, to be able to play a person that easily in those trying of times, had to have two sides to him. And yes, it's probably been a really big thing that that he did something really terrible. But there are other people that have done extremely terrible things, like Louis C.K. But I mean, obviously, it's obvious that he was doing something bad. It's like he was coming back. It's like you don't come out of being with your kids and saying like, oh, she'll never want anything. She'll murder someone. And it's like, yeah, then she'll go to jail. Teach her better life skills. Don't teach her how to take shit that she wants. Because eventually, shit'll go back on her. And eventually, or she'll kill 100 people and then get caught after she dies. And then everyone will realize that. And your family name will be ruined, Louis C.K. Obviously, if it's not ruined already. And it pretty much is, for the most part. But not to say that also too your family gets experiences the pain that you go through. Whether you're on drugs, whether you're doing something terrible, whether you're doing something stupid, or whether you can't handle the pressure that you go through. And if you can't handle the pressure that you go through, or the pressure that anyone puts on you, then just don't listen. Then just go home. Then seriously, go home and get yourself straight. It's not saying like, if you can't handle the key, get out of the kitchen. It's like, yeah, get out of the kitchen. You'll get burned, and it'll suck. And that will suck because I don't want you to get burned. It's like that's the rest of that saying. Be concerned. I'm concerned for your well-being. Don't fucking do that stuff. You know? It's like I'm not like yeah, bro, I'm fucking like ripped your shit, bro. It's like, no, that stereotype never existed. Just like every other stereotype, they're all just individual experiences with people who might have had friends that might have acted like them sometimes. And also the gangster mentality. Oh my gosh, dude. Everybody wanted to act like a gangster because they didn't want anybody to mess with their family. They were afraid for their lives sometimes. They didn't know what things were doing. They didn't know people were doing things. Sometimes you would even see little Jewish kids try to act like really badass gangsters in like New York and other places like that. And you wouldn't see them get messed with at all because of the way that they acted and the way that they dressed and the way they held themselves. And that's sometimes what people think is like what people hold to a certain status now is like hey, that's how stylish is, or stylish is as stylish does, something like that. But our stylish is now as stylish did in very, very many years ago, because back in the day, sometimes stylish was unbelievable crazy hitman that does insane shit for money and leaves the country every 6 to 7 months. And granted, that was more often than not, sometimes. And in some cases, they were probably working for the government. Unfortunately, they don't work for the government anymore. And if they try to work for the government again, then the government will have them killed. Or put on trial for the crimes that they did commit. You know? That kind of stuff. Because that's not what this country is about. At least I don't believe it is. And I don't just watch movies. I watch the news, I watch the people, I see things. And I don't just pay attention to what's in front of me either. I usually pay attention to what's behind me, I pay attention to what's beside me, and I pay attention to what's down the road. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that people need to prepare themselves for like the worst of the worst or something like that. But in some cases, you should be prepared for the worst. If you're in a line of security or jobs or something, realize that sometimes your life may be in danger. You know? Realize that's the reason why they have security at some of the events. But also realize that sometimes you're in really, really safe hands. And also realize that even though you're in safe hands though, it doesn't mean you can't learn how to take care of yourself. That's why I'm teaching self-defense classes. No, I'm not. I'm not teaching self-defense classes at all because I don't do that shit. It doesn't really pan out sometimes. You don't really realize the amount of damage you're doing until it's done sometimes. And in the same sense, you might as well avoid the situation rather than try to fight sometimes. And instead of walking down that dark corridor, that dark alley, why don't you just wind up going in front of the lights instead of trying to walk in a place where you're barely even seen. And people can see you, but you're barely seen. So if people find you, then they'll barely see the dead body sitting there whenever they find you. So realize that our world changed a long time ago. And so much so that people just tried to use fear-mongering to try to get people to believe in a country that they thought was theirs, or they thought was theirs because of stupid shit. Realize that those people don't have control over this economy. Those people think that they have something because they keep making money on stuff that they thought they could make money on a long time ago. Their mom set them up with some trust funds, or they saved money because their dad was welding for 30 fucking years, working his ass off, and didn't fucking like his kids. That shit. And that's the reason why they sometimes hate their kids. So realize that those people's parents tried to build a different United States, and in some states people still think that they have control. Like the people who tried to alienate an entire religion, Mormons and a whole bunch of different other things like that. It's not to say that Mormons are bad people. They just tried to alienate them because in some ways it was Christian extremists in some ways as well. Because they were extremists. No matter what they are, they're extreme. They don't believe in the same views that you believe in. So why group them together with you sometimes? But in the same sense, realize that they're out there, and if they're not named something, or if they're not a part of something, then it could be a part of anything. And if they, I guess, as far as people who want to do you wrong. So, but I'm not trying to get political with this, but in the same sense, emotionally, I guess what I'm doing with these videos is, and I'm going back into what I actually was talking about, but emotionally what I'm trying to do with these videos is, I guess put at ease what people are trying to do to America, and this country is great. It's great. It's the only thing that needed to happen in order for this country to be great again is for people to start believing that it's great again. And no, it wasn't a hat that gave this country the ability to feel like it was great again.
Sorry about that.
This country is one of the greatest countries because of the amount of care and the amount of tact and the amount of ability people have put into and around this great nation. The amount of care and the amount of tact and the amount of ability and the amount of smarts and the amount of work and the amount of everything. So like, feel good about where you come from if you come from here. And if you're not from here, then ha ha ha. No, I'm just playing. I was stupid. No, if you're not from here, then 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 realize that if you're not like us, then we don't care. People understand that sometimes there are bad people out there, or there are bad people around, but people never go into what it takes to be that bad. People never go into how it is to be that way, because if you don't understand the ways that they're bad, then you'll never understand the ways to be able to stop them sometimes, because in some ways they're unstoppable in a very great way sometimes, if they're able to set things on fire and ruin things in places where, and people may say that, oh my gosh, the schools in California or people did that do those things because they feel threatened. They feel threatened by the sheer amount of what we are. They think that somehow, some way, they should be having the same and they should get it from us. But, understandably so, sometimes they just want the same thing.
70 miles per hour in
sometimes they can't have the same thing. They have to have their brand of the same thing. And also, I'm not saying that, oh boy, that was amazing. I'm not saying that, oh, they can't have it because we have it, ha ha ha. No, it's stupid. It's just, everyone gets what they want sometimes. But if there's already an established government, then you have to work with that established government. Just like I have to work with all the government stuff that I have to work with in order to keep everything that I keep private and not on a goddamn message board from and also these are all my ideas, not anything of any of my personal opinions, because I think that there are so many other people that actually share my opinions but actually don't share my opinions. And I think, is the motorcycle in the tree? I think the motorcycle's in the tree. Son of a bitch. No, it's right here. Yay. So, oh, are you serious? But understanding that just because you and your friends have something, just because you and your friends have this thing, it doesn't mean it's going to catch on for everyone. Just because you and your friends have something, it doesn't mean that you'll have it forever. So appreciate it. Appreciate everything about what you have with you, your friends, your family, everyone. And if you judge another person based on what they believe, how much sun they've had over certain generations, or anything like that, just realize that it's creepy to stare directly into the camera and like smile intently and then just stand there for no reason. So no one's gonna trust you if you do that all the time. Realize that people naturally aren't standing in front of a camera or presenting themselves to someone like you or thinking that somehow changes at your doorstep, because that sounds like Jehovah's Witnesses, and no one likes Jehovah's Witnesses. No one. No, because they put a number on their religion. They can't put a number on it. It's fucked up, man. It's fucked up. But understanding where you stand as far as emotionally and is basically how much you're able to make fun of certain things and yourself and anything like that. Realize that you yourself can make fun of yourself at any point in time, and it makes no sense, and it doesn't have to make any sense, and it doesn't have to be anything. I think if people start making fun of themselves a little bit more in life and start realizing that the more they try, and yes, this dust stuff is supposed to insinuate that California is on fire or anything like that, or this yeah, but it's not. It's got the same amount of sun as all of us, but understandably so. It doesn't have I'd say the same amount of groundwater irrigation that we have. And also, yeah, we built up on stuff because, yeah, and also Chicago did, a whole bunch of other cities did. It's the reason why they have irrigation systems and a whole bunch of water stuff and all that other different stuff. So there's also the reasons why there's a pipeline through a whole bunch of stuff, and the reason why things get set on fire is because they constantly want to transport oil back and forth to places and stuff like that. And realize that we're gonna have to come up with an eventual plan of like not having oil, because I mean, you know, it's just, I get it when people try to say that like this is supposed to be what America is in a nutshell, I guess, or this is supposed to be what is America in a nutshell, and we're so small on the map. It's just like, no, we're not. It's like, yeah, we can go to different states and stuff. That's the reason, is because we don't have to show our papers or our passports to anyone. That's cool too, right? And the people are jealous of that initial fact, that I'm able to say that kind of stuff and not get reprimanded for it. People are jealous of that fact and that fact alone. They believe that me saying anything about anything at all is just complete and utter arrogance, and it should be treated as such. But I believe that it's humor, as well as mental health for them, or maybe even game therapy, because they should stop judging people so goddamn much. And that's the only change that I want to see sometimes. Is people not judging someone based upon what they see every single day. That's it. It's the only change I want to see. Is, hey, instead of keeping your pants down or something like that, pull your pants up, you know? Or instead of wearing boxers underneath your pants, wear shorts underneath your pants. And then you can take them off, play a bunch of sports, do a bunch of anything you want to do. Play some flag football, because I don't really support full contact football. Or frisbee football, because frisbee golf or anything like that. Bo, shut up! It's annoying. All right, but Bo, there's no one there. But there might be someone there, but that's beside the point. Okay? I know. All right? I know. Calm down. It's okay. I love you, Bo. All right. Understanding that there are so many different ways to be able to say I'm sorry, to say you're sorry, to say anyone is sorry for judging everyone way too harshly, and in the same sense trying to say that like people do stupid shit. And I may not like the fact that people hold guns as a tradition to be able to shoot them at the floor and hold gunpowder at their feet, but I mean, if they blow their foot off, that's pretty much their own right, because they're in their own country, I guess. But understanding that there are some stupid shit that my ancestors had done because they were drunk off their asses and did stupid shit, like I'd say had sex with multiple prostitutes. Sometimes that's worse than a gun. You can be like, but saying so, they're actually in regulation now in Las Vegas, and they're doing well, you know. They don't have any diseases. They don't have any stuff. You know, that's really beautiful. And I mean, just because you think no one gets you right now, just because you think no one gets you right now. I mean, I know I'm speaking to like the 99% of people, I guess. Just because you think no one gets you right now doesn't mean no one will. And just because, and why would you want someone to get you constantly all the time, or constantly go into one relationship after another, or go into even one existence into another? Because sometimes people are actually betting on it. Sometimes they're just like, I bet you like $50,000 that if I'm born, I'll go here and then not there and then there and then not there. So it's like, no, you cease to exist on this planet and you pretty much exist in another part of the universe. And that's what happens usually. because that's how fast energy moves. So realize that eventually you'll see change, but change always happens slow, and good change always happens slow because it comes and it stays instead of leaving. And I have to go blow something up because now I need to stand in front of this guy. And only tear gas again. Bitch. But give me those tires. Okay, here we go. I'd hate to do this because that is a really cool car, probably. There we go. Leslie, I'll help you. Or you can leave me half or something like that, okay? I'll put the rest of it up. Realize that you yourself can make the change in your life to be able to see something better. And just because you're cut off from a source that has so much stuff, realize that you were inspired by it. And if people see it enough, or see it enough in your country, you'll be able to see that eventually, you should have never been alienated of that right ever to begin with. It has a lot to do with our media. It has a lot to do with the way that we're doing things right now. But also it has a lot to do with the way that old things used to happen. And old people used to do things very stupidly and very dumb and under the noses of people who thought they were actually good people. So realize that eventually you'll see what comes to light, and you'll see what comes to be, and the best way possible sometimes, because I'm gonna hit that guy, because I'm gonna hit this motorcycle. Oh yeah, give me. Yay.
Don't act like a tough guy.
You can have your car back. Okay. Alright, but you realize that those people never represented what it is and what is America today. You know, start to get happy, okay? And the more happy you are, oh yeah. The more happy you are, the more you'll realize that that it's worth being better than just nothing. It's worth being better than just no one. It's worth being better than thinking that you have to experience things humbly, than if you have to just be humble. And I'm gonna turn this off. And then off that. There we go. And we're gonna jump some shit.
Suspect northbound on the Great Ocean Highway.
There we go. Got it. Oh man.
Oh man, that.
And remember,
Suspect last seen on metallic red.
shit. Stay frosty. I jumped in the water. There was water there. I wanted to go in the water. Oh well, but there's a reason for the way that I say things sometimes, and it's because sometimes I wasn't able to have an opinion, or to be actually put into a regular way of thinking. I realize that sometimes people need to see their light of day, and I also understand that sometimes people need to see that it's not the way they imagined it in their minds. And I think the more that people understand that, the more we'll see change, and the more we'll actually see people experiencing and loving each other the way that they should sometimes, and we'll see less of the ways they shouldn't. Thank you for listening, and this has been Game Therapy, and I'm gonna tear gas myself. There we go, and I'm gonna throw it in the trash can. And there we go. There we go. There we go. Look at that. How do you, I wonder how you, there we go. See, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Tear gas does work. Alright. And also too, I have one more outro. Make sure you change before things happen in your life for the worst. Make sure you change before you can see the the people in your life go away for good. You know?
Excuse me.
And if ever you feel like changing, that person will be ready to actually see you for who you really are. And the more that I see the change in other people, and the more that I read the changes that are happening in everyday life, and the more that I see what's going on,
Hey, a car! What is this bullshit?
the more that I care about what's going on in my life. And I can say that it's all lovey-dovey and all kind of stupid or whatever, or that there aren't any gray areas in between. And there are some people that are pretty good all over, but eventually they just like to lie sometimes and be off by themselves, or be off with another person that nobody knows about. There are men that like to cheat and like to do things that are stupid. And should they be grouped in with other people that are dumb or mean or stupid or consider themselves to be?
You're really making my
Shoot.
Don't hit me!
There we go.
I just hope you have proper hatred for yourself.
All right, I need a grenade, but it doesn't work like that. And I think I only have 2 bullets left. But I don't care.
Report 417 on
Okay, I got no idea.
Palomino
There we go.
Avenue. Rockford Hills.
Great car! Fucking beautiful.
Suspect last seen on Palomino Avenue.
God dang it. I was working on a project.
Citizens reporting an attack on a vehicle
Yes.
on Palomino Avenue in Rockford Hills.
It's gone. Inception.
Officers report a reckless driver on
And also too, not everyone always goes from one thing to the other constantly. So I'm not always trying to say that. And why do I find the fact that men on men action is funny to me? Because yes, it's been around for a really long time, and in some ways, men are very prideful about their beliefs, and even when they're gay, sometimes they're really prideful about their beliefs.
suspect westbound.
And I want to make fun of them, but nicely.
SUV.
So that's the reason why. It's fun to me. It's hilarious. I've been around it my entire life, and no, I don't have the right to make fun of it. I just think it's funny. Because sometimes people are And that doesn't mean that just because people are gay, they're good people. I realize that fact as well. Sometimes they're really fucked up in the head. Sometimes they're not fucked up in the head. Sometimes they're gay out of spite. Sometimes they're gay because they didn't make it with any women. Sometimes they try to make you gay. Sometimes they think that it's funny to turn straight men gay. Sometimes I am the victim of being hit on by a dude who is gay, and then I try to tell him that I'm not gay, and then he's like, oh, it's okay, and I'm like, no, I'm not. So that's it. But I'm not blaming him, because you know what, he might have had some bad experiences in life. And also, I wouldn't blame any woman that does that either, that tries to hit on me but then realizes that we're not compatible. You know, it doesn't mean anything. I don't even mean anything by it. I don't mean anything that is like the way. And also, I mean, you know, I try to tell people I look good without a shirt. But they never believe me, even when I take off my shirt. So man, just love each other. Just love each other or whatever, or something like that. Or don't like completely love. I just farted again. There's so many thoughts going through my head. I gotta go to sleep now because I'm tired as shit. Because I streamed for like 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours maybe, all together. And yep, 1 hour. You gotta do 2 hours and then 1 hour, 30 minutes before, an hour and 3.5 hours. I did math really slowly in my head. And that guy got hit by his own car. Yep, that's what I wanted to do. Alright. Outro. Pick one. Put it in there. And message me. Is that like, that's like, what's the word? Freaking, what's his name? Scarface. It's that Alec Baldwin? No. Shit. It's Leslie, who's Scarface? Al Pacino. Never mind, Al Pacino. I didn't even have to tell you. I didn't even have to say it. Have a good day. And junk. Yeah. I have a burp. It smells like